Oh, live. We're live. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're late because it was my mistake. I forgot. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot it was that time. So yeah, we're late. But thanks everybody for joining. With me today is Davide and Dash. How are you doing, guys?
Hey, we're all together again. Let's do this. Let's get the debates going. It's going to be a fun night.
I know. Everybody in the chat, grab your popcorn, grab your wine, and let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Wine and popcorn, eh? Wow. Are you like a single mother?
You don't know. You never know, David.
Oh, I guess I know.
Yeah. Before we get into two topics I want to discuss, or like not the only two topics, but like two main ones. Before we went live, Romeo said that Di Maria could be in Torino for his medicals on Friday, and then Pedula said the same about Pogba and Cambiaso over the weekend. It's a bit all over the place. They're just gonna be having his medicals from Friday to Sunday. I think that's the news. I don't really care when it happens. It's gonna happen, you know. And they're also kind of saying over the weekend, so that's news. Let me see. Sport Italia saying that Ranocchia could join Torino, which is out of nowhere. I'm not gonna lie. And they added to it that they want 50 million euros to sell Bremer. So maybe that can drop the price to 49, I guess.
Yeah, not much.
Because earlier today I saw news that Juve don't want to sell Ranocchia because Roma were interested. Interested. I think it was Romeo. I'm not certain. And he said the club doesn't want to lose control over the player. So yeah, it's not gonna take anything off the price for Bremer if it's ever it ever was the case. So yeah, that's news so far. Nothing big. Okay, let's get into it. The main news. Not the main. Yeah, it's the main news. It's still De Ligt. But I didn't plan to talk about De Ligt a lot, but we're gonna talk about it because the last time I was live was, I think it was Friday. There was no real offer. It's Tuesday. There's still no offer. So that's news basically. It's I think it's the media guessing. The buy-in interest, I laughed because it's funny. Like, I'm not gonna lie. What they're offering is funny. What do you make about that? Like, I think Bayern are serious, but I don't think they're serious at the same time, if that makes sense. It's like we want. Who do we want? Nobody, because at the end we always overpay. Like, pay the money for the players we need. But like,
Yeah.
don't don't let Bayern fool you. They have the money. Like, they have money.
They're kind of cheap too, though. At the same,
They're cheap, but they have the money.
But
They have the money.
yeah, they have the money, but they're smart with how they spend it.
Yeah, didn't they pay almost like 70 million for Lucas Hernandez?
Yeah, they have money. Sane.
Yeah,
Just name.
but those are. That's not 100 mil at the same time either, right?
I know. I know.
Still a big paycheck there.
But like 60 mil. Like, I laugh. I'm like, that's a mistake. And yeah, they can agree terms with the Lake. Fine. I don't care. We agree terms with Locatelli. We paid what Sassuolo wanted. I still think we overpaid for Locatelli, but nobody was complaining about that. I don't think Locatelli is worth what we paid for. I like Locatelli, but let's be real.
It's a little pricey. Yeah,
It's pricey. Like, let's be completely real. What he offers or what he gives, it's a lot of money, but it's the market. Like, that's my entire point. Like, the market is, it's crazy. It makes no sense at this point. So what is what it is. I know Misa, we paid 0 for 2-year loan, but we're still gonna pay at the end the money. Like, you're gonna pay it now over 20 years.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay the money. You're gonna overpay, in my opinion. Chiesa, I don't think it was worth 60 mil when we signed him for 13. Does anyone? Maybe one of you guys.
No, I'll be honest. Like I remember when we first got him on deadline day, I'm like, why are we paying? Because it was what 20 million initially, and then you'd get 40 at the end of the second year. I was skeptical at it at first because I was like, that's a lot of money for him. And I mean, same thing with Locatelli, where it's like 40 million. Where I'm like, yeah, he had a great like group stages at the Euros, but I still think we overpaid.
Yeah. And now,
But
Yeah.
it's no,
Sorry?
go ahead.
now everybody can say, "Oh, it's worth it." I mean, yeah, like that's my entire
hindsight.
point. You're paying for potential also, because that's what you're doing basically, in my opinion. You're paying.
Yeah, you do. You definitely have to put that into account. That's part of the fee
Yeah.
for sure is potential.
Like that's how it works. Like PSG are close to paying 50 mil for Scamacca. Does anyone believe like? And even if it's
Yeah,
not
that's-
50 mil, even if
That's
it's 40,
insane.
even if it's 40 plus bonus, it's insane. Like it's actually unbelievable.
I can see 40 because strikers, your attackers in general will always go more. That's why you look at Chiesa. Even when you look at Martial, Jesus, any of these guys, they all tend to be a little bit more expensive. But and I think that's maybe where that debate's coming in with De Ligt is he's a defender and why pay that much? But yeah, it's still ridiculous amounts of money either way you look at it. But
It's like,
that's what the market's dictating right now. I mean, who are we to say otherwise if that's the market?
Yeah, that's my entire point. Like I never said the league is worth 100 mil because I don't think he's worth 100 mil. I don't think the club is paying 100 mil. Like I never said that. I wouldn't pay 100 mil for the league. Like I'm not gonna lie. If I were Juve, if I were a Chelsea fan and I hear 100 mil or 90 mil, I would be like, ah. But that's the market. On top of that, Chelsea are desperate. Like, they don't have center backs. They lost Christensen. They lost Rudiger. They're in need.
Oh, they're screwed. They
They
need
need to
Yeah.
pay.
they need to spend the money. If
Like-
anybody's spending the money, it's Chelsea right now.
That's my entire point. Like
No,
we are in control. Like De Ligt wants to leave, fine. You want to leave, great. But you still have a deal with us. Chelsea want you, pay up.
Yeah.
It's what it
Let's
is.
see. I think it's going to be 90.
Because
Yes, just throwing it out there.
Locatelli wanted us, but at the end we paid what Sassuolo wanted in the first place. We haggled. Yeah, you got to spread the fee, but like they got the money they wanted at the end of the day. That's what it is.
It's
More
the
or
same
less, yeah.
same thing with Vlahovic too. He wanted us, but we still had to pay 75 because that was the price tag they put up.
And that's also very expensive.
That's it.
When you think about it.
That's also expensive,
And-
of course.
And that's the thing that irritates me too is like I look at it on Twitter where everyone's like, "Oh, we should drop him for 70. Oh, 75 is fine." No, man. Like why are we as a club having to like be the stomping grounds for Bayern Munich and them? Remember Bayern fleeced us 50 million for Douglas Costa, like a one season wonder. So it's like why because I remember them. They were like, "Yeah, you have to pay 50 for Douglas Costa or you're not going to get him." So like why can't we say, "Hey, this is our set price tag. Meet it. If you don't, that stinks for you guys." And if anything, that hurts De Ligt more because a whole thing can change in a year. A team can restock on center backs, and those teams that want you don't want you anymore, depending on how things go. So it's like, I don't understand. Like, how is Chelsea trying to put leverage on us when they don't have any defenders? And like, De Ligt is technically their best option right now. So like, it's that thing, man. Pay up or shut up. It's as simple as that because we don't lose anything because he'll still play. We still have him for 2 years, so it's like it's not the end of the world. And even if we were to sell him next year, we'd still have to sell it to a reasonable amount that doesn't write us off as a loss. Right now, I think it's and it's not a popular opinion, but if we sell De Ligt, it can actually help our rebuild a little bit faster if we play if the club plays their cards right because essentially you're trading De Ligt for potentially 2 good players if they pay that 90 to 100 million price tag. But it's simple as that, guys. Like, hey, I want your player. Okay, here's the price tag. And like Bayern lowballing us, like because Bayern value him at 60, like, okay, Bayern Munich, nobody cares because like you guys aren't setting the price tag for a player that you don't own. So like again, pay up or go look at something else. Like try to get money for selling Lewandowski or something and then come back. But like
now that you bring up Lewandowski, like 1 point, we are gonna pay 35 for Keane, by the way. So the market is messed up, and we were desperate That's a desperate move. That's what I'm saying. Because now you said Lewandowski. Bayern are holding out for a few millions to not sell Lewandowski and lose him on a free. So they cannot say we don't have money. If you are holding out to lose Lewandowski on a free, on top of that, willing to pay him more wages, like a year of wages, lose him, that's like a 50 million loss. If you can take that hit, I don't want to hear anything about 60 mil. I'm sorry. And if the club, I don't think the offer came in, to be honest, from Bayern. It's just media reports from Germany.
No.
But at the moment Bayern say 60 mil, if I were a Juventus, I'm like, don't ever call me again. Not this summer. I don't want to hear you. I want to speak with you guys. If you're going to be disrespectful, don't call me back.
Well, what's more disrespectful, offering only 60 or offering Pavard in the deal?
I think offering Pavard in the deal because it's still 60, but we need to take on a wage on top of that.
Yeah, for somebody. I mean, is he worse than Sandro? These are always the questions. I always ask this question. Is he worse than Sandro? This could be a new segment.
No, I don't think Pellegrini is worse, but I still want Pellegrini out. I still don't want Pellegrini at the club, but I don't know. Like, let's see. I expect Chelsea to make a respectable offer this week because they know what the price is.
Yeah, this week for sure. Like, there's still a bit of time before training camps really kick into gear. So, I mean, a transfer this large, I can see it taking another week or two, but not too long because obviously they want to get everyone into training camps. The players want to get back in, start training, getting ready for the season, the World Cup and all that. So, I mean, I think once a certain number is reached, things are going to start moving pretty quick. I can see Chelsea coming in next couple of days, even at 80. I mean, it's going to move up for sure.
Well, and the thing about Chelsea that kind of perplexes me is they play a back three under Tuchel. So is De Ligt even serviceable in a back three for him to want to go to Chelsea? Or, like, I don't know. It's just...
He said he's even playing a back three. So.
Yeah, because with Ten Hag, they played a four-man defense, not a three-man, but... I don't know. I mean, some of the games that we played a three-man defense, he usually was caught out of position. So that's why I was a little bit skeptical. I mean, Bayern makes a little bit more sense, but Chelsea kind of throws me off a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, yeah, personally, like if I was in his position, I would prefer Bayern as well. But Bayern's probably not going to pay out the same that Chelsea will at this point, right? So that's really where it comes down to. I mean, a big Dutch defender, why would you not want to go to Bayern over an English team in general? Except maybe City, because it's City.
Yeah. And then I don't believe Chelsea play the style that he likes, like the full high press, high attacking. I always thought Tuchel was more of a counter-attacking coach, but I'm not a Chelsea fan, so I don't really want to atone to it. But yeah, and then the other thing too, why Bayern doesn't make sense to me is because they're almost on the verge of dropping Serge Gnabry because of his wage demands. I always thought that they were a team that doesn't like players asking for more than 10 to 11 million per season net. So
yeah, they have a similar salary cap situation that we do.
Yeah, so that was the other thing too that I was a little bit skeptical when I heard the Bayern news because like he's not going to go to Bayern and earn less than 11 what he earns at us. So, like, I don't understand that. Chelsea, it makes sense because the Premier League's wages are outrageous. But, yeah, the Bayern, I don't know if the Bayern thing is just to get Chelsea under fire, per se, to make Chelsea pull the trigger quicker. But, like, I mean, from a performance standpoint, it makes sense to go to Bayern. But financially, if you look at, like, his wages and also just how Bayern does their transfer business, it's a little bit weird. It wouldn't make sense for me, but, this Mercado is weird.
Yeah, that's my entire point. It's weird. We need to be weird. It is what it is. We don't need to be the team. It doesn't make sense for you. But, like, I know the Mercado is weird, but you know what? We're gonna ask for less money. Let's be the good guys here. Like, it makes no sense. Like, just play the game along because you're playing with Zaniolo. You're playing the game. You're gonna overpay for Zaniolo. You're playing the game. Just play it on all fronts, even selling, because we are horrendous at selling. But let's be honest, we're not good at it.
Yeah,
I keep saying we're not good at it. Yeah, you sold Pogba, and that's my point.
That was a fluke.
That was. I still can't believe that. I mean, I can't believe because we sold two like Premier League clubs. They have money. That's my point. I keep saying it. They have money to burn because that's what they do. They burn money. I'm not saying we don't spend money. We do. We do. But if you look at our selling record, like it doesn't look good. Let's be honest. And when we brought in De Ligt, the club knew he's gonna leave at some point. Maybe they hope he would stay, but like they knew he was gonna leave at some point. And the idea always was to make a profit. Now, 3 years later, if you turn around, like even Agnelli, if he turns around to his cousin, it's like, yeah, we broke even on De Ligt. I think his cousin's like, what happened? Like, it's 3-year loan. Like nothing happened. It's just a 3-year loan deal. Like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, and especially they're desperate. Like that's my entire point. They are desperate. Yeah, they can sign Koundé for 60 and Ake for 45, but I don't think even Tuchel is like, okay, I got 2 defenders, but like they're not De Ligt, any of them. So I have 2 good defenders, but I don't have a good defender, if you know what I mean. So we spent that money for 2, but for no.
And they're in the same situation where, I mean, just their setup, what they're trying to accomplish, they need a De Ligt style player.
They need.
So, I mean, like they better look at Koulibaly as well, because it's either Koulibaly is probably gonna be at Juve or Chelsea. Like right now, we're kind of banking on Chelsea just to keep De Ligt, but I mean, their stature, their position, what they want to accomplish, they need a massive center back.
Yeah. That's. I'm just like saying we're insane, and I want some sanity in football.
No, there's no sanity.
Yeah,
Then you need to go back 20 years in time. I don't know. Like it's not happening now.
20.
This is the game.
You have to go a lot farther back than 20 years, I think.
Like, when we signed McKennie, I was like, who the hell is this guy? Like 20+ mil? Like who? I never heard about it.
That was a lot of money for somebody you never heard of.
Yeah, I was like,
he turned out pretty good, mind you.
Yeah, but that's my point. Like again, at that point, nobody was gonna say he's worth that because nobody knew him. Like not nobody, but you know what I mean. Like I didn't know it. Like I think Justin and Julian, they heard about him. Like they're like American Canadian, okay, but Justin, you know, I was like, we overpaid back then. You know, does he turn out to be that good? Fine, you can say it was right to pay that money. You know, but at the time I was like, what the hell? Like surely we can spend that money a bit more better. But yeah, it is what it is. That's the De Ligt news. So far, no update. So let's see. It's Tuesday. This deal needs to get done quickly because we need to replace him. And after Arrivabene's interview in Tuttosport, he better have his replacement lined up. Otherwise, that was a weird interview to do. Like he basically told the world he's gone. He wants out. You better have his replacement lined up at that point. Otherwise, I'm going to say it was stupid. Like, it wasn't the smartest thing you can do. But it is what it is. We're going to move on because nothing happened. I'm going to move on to Zaniolo. And I don't know if it's from Romblano. Before I read it out, Romeo already like kind of dismissed it, but I'm gonna read it out because the rumors about Cuadrado, Roma are out there for months. I would say it's not with months. I mean 2 months or something, but it's not out of nowhere. I will read out the news first. Let me get it up on the screen. Okay, so this is basically the news. Momblano saying Zaniolo Juve, the turning point could happen very soon. Cuadrado could go to Roma in order to bring the valuation of Zaniolo to at least 40 million euros. Juve have also like that's attached. Juve have asked Udinese for Molina, and Udinese are willing to sell. They're open to include some under 23 players in the deal and all those things. I will let you guys go first. Let's say this is true.
I just wanted one thing clarified with regards to this because there's another Momblano tweet. What is that? Is that the the verb, the twit. Anyways,
All right, Boomer.
where it says there's a desire of both clubs to get to the finish line. Cuadrado valued at $8 million. Meanwhile, Udinese can't wait to sell Molina. So does that mean Udinese's also looking at Cuadrado, or this is still referencing Roma?
No.
It's Roma.
It's Roma. It's
Okay, it is separate. I just wanted to clarify that. Yeah. If Udinese was looking at Cuadrado as well, I mean, that could have been juicy. But let's forget that happened. That's just my
Quadaddy is only for Roma.
But yeah, Dash, you take it off this time.
Yeah, if we can get rid of Cuadrado, I'd be a happy camper because, guy's on his last legs, and I'm going to say he's kind of deadwood. And if you people are upset with it, that's fine. But it's the truth. Cuadrado has been declining drastically over the last couple of years. So it's like, if we can move him and get close, because his valuation is like roughly $8 million, so if we can move him for an easy 10, I am totally happy and totally okay with it. And I will go to bed happy with it. I mean, if it affects Zaniolo, it affects Zaniolo's price. I mean, we all know that deal is going to probably get done at some point over the next month and a half. So, I can't really object on whether or not, Zaniolo this, Zaniolo that. It's going to happen. So, if there's a way to offset the cost, cool. I'm happy. If not, then I really think we should move Cuadrado while we have a chance. And if we can get something out of it, cool. And then Molina would be then the alternative to look at it. So then we can finally get someone that's young, that's potentially developing into that right back role. The only thing that I object with Cuadrado to Roma is I believe Mourinho just signed a new right wing back on their squad. I don't know their name because I don't follow Roma. All I know is that they signed somebody. So that might affect how they look at Cuadrado, but we got to remember Cuadrado is kind of a hybrid. So he's a right winger, right mid, right back as well. So it all depends on how Mourinho is going to play. But hey, Mourinho likes old players. He's kind of like a Conte, but a better version of Conte. So you could potentially see that interest, but it's Monblano, so it's either 100% true or it's 0% true. There's no in between. But yeah, I mean, I'd be happy if we can start respelling or rebuilding that right back if we can dump out Cuadrado this year. But hey, in our Lord and Savior Monblano.
I don't think it's gonna happen. But I do believe the club wants to move on Cuadrado. I don't think he's gonna renew. I think there were too many leaks about Cuadrado with the club not being happy. And he can come out and put a statement out saying it's not true. There were too many leaks, too many news stories claiming the club is not really happy, that he didn't want to renew his contract again and lower his wages. I think next season he's gone anyway, because unless he goes from 4.5 to 2, I don't think that, because he will have offers from abroad, with a higher salary because he's a free agent. So I think he will move on next season. That's why I think if the club has an opportunity to get some value this summer, they will take him. Take it. I do believe that. But I don't believe Roma's sure, 34-year-old Cuadrado, come and join us for 4 or 5 million euros for 2-3 seasons. I don't believe that. That's so much.
I mean, he is old, and I mean that's the problem. His decline. I think he can still do great things on a less competitive team, a slower paced team, maybe a Mourinho team in this case. But probably Inter Miami next year is his landing spot, a spot like that. Anyways, he's still a great player. He's just old and slow and can't keep up with the pace that we need him to.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I don't think we've been getting any hate back about Cuadrado, but I know there's a lot of lovers out there. I mean, he's just old. Unfortunate. We got a lot of old guys, and we got to move him on. So yeah, if we can move him on and make a few million, sure. But from the Roma perspective, like Ali said, why would they do it? Yeah, it's a tough sell at this point.
Yeah, I don't mind Cuadrado, but he is a very controversial player, because he can be frustrating to watch. Even I like him, but there are games in the season, many games in the season where I'm oh my god, get off that field.
Yeah.
I can't watch it anymore. Just get off. And then out of nowhere, he beats his man, he scores. I'm
or he'll get
Yeah.
They'll make that one Modric style pass cross into the box like once a season, and you're like, oh my god, where was this guy? And then run into a defender the next season.
He usually gets it's like part of his like player stats, 1 goal off a corner per season and one successful step over goal per season. But if he's gonna stay, I think the club needs to, or Allegri needs to seriously transition him into the super sub role, because it's just he gets beat way too easy, especially when he's playing on that right back position. He just doesn't have the pace, and he wasn't a naturally like defender, like a natural defender. So it's like, you're old, you're kind of slow, so it's like you're not really as aggressive as most right backs should be. Granted, I mean, now everyone thinks Trent Alexander-Arnold's like the best right back in the world, and that guy doesn't play defense at all. Haha, come at me, fans. It's we need to start either super subbing him or start transitioning him out, because that's my thing. That's one of my issues, is like we don't really replace something or like tend to like nurture something up until it's actually like gone. Because like let's use Chiellini for example. Like, yeah, we can say De Ligt is like the next man up for Chiellini, but like Chiellini and Bonucci, you only have De Ligt. You didn't have another guy. Same thing with your left back, your right back. Like, you just have Sandro and you just have Danilo. You don't have anything else that's developing. Like, same thing with Vlahovic. Like, Vlahovic came in because Ronaldo was gone and Keane is absolutely garbage. So it's like that's one of my things with my issue with this club is like, we never bring in a player to nurture in or to develop into the role that they'll take over. It just kind of is like, oh, we don't have this anymore and we need this now. And that's like one thing where I got to give props to Bayern, because Bayern like actually like brings in the people in and then they like morph into that role. Because like, for example, they didn't say, oh, we need a left back, let's just go grab Alphonsi Davies out of nowhere. Like, he came in and they nurtured him into that role. Like, it's one of those things where I'm just like, why can't we do something like that? It's always like, we're scrambling every summer transfer market where it's like, oh no, we just gave up Higuain and Matuidi for free to Inter Miami, and now we don't have any replacements that can step up for that. It's just like, yeah.
That Davies example is perfect, because he had Alaba there to learn from, and then they pushed Alaba into the center back position for a season or two. I can't remember exactly how long before they moved him on. And then at that point, mind you, Davies was a superstar at 19.
Turn on my light.
But we got to look too. That was a Paratici thing, not getting that youth in. It does seem though the current management. I mean, you hope so. Cambioso learning off of Sandro for a year. I mean, if we get Molina, learn off Danilo. That Dash is having lighting issues over there.
No, people keep walking into the room and flipping off the light switch.
Learning from Alexandro at this point is.
No, I know. It's too far. It's too far in the game, but like the management's trying to play catch up now.
And the Cambiaso thing, like, I don't know what's gonna happen with like Julian planned to do a coach's score, and he was like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it. I don't know if he's gonna stay, but I made so many graphics for him, so I bait him into making it with the excuse that I believe he's gonna stay, but I don't think he's gonna stay. But yeah, stay tuned
still
for
be interesting to see, though.
Yeah. Like, there's some interesting things in it, but like it's all up in the air. But at that point, I'm like, okay, so you're gonna invest in a left back then, like big time. Like, if it's not Cambiaso with a value of 10 mil, who's gonna be it? Who's the next man up then? We're not linked with any. Yeah, I mean we are, but like I don't want Emerson Palmieri. Like, we're not linked with any decent players at that point. So it's Cambiaso.
Left back's going to be a next year thing, because we can't get rid of Sandro. Pellegrini might not leave. Sandro will have to leave next year. Get rid of him. Maybe get rid of Pellegrini. You have Cambiaso left, and then I don't know, buy Udogi if he's still available. This is definitely next year.
My biggest fear is, and it kind of is related to the left back, right back position. My biggest fear is that the club or Allegri actually agreed on playing Danilo as a center back. He can do a job, but that's it. I don't want to see. That's my biggest fear for next
I
season.
think he's going to more. Maybe
That's
not
fine.
right off the bat, but
That's
yeah, his
come on.
legs are getting old and tired as well.
Yeah, that great partnership with Bonucci incoming. That's the most stupid thing you can like. The backline, you had De Ligt, Chiellini last season, all those players, and the backline wasn't good. Imagine what it's gonna look like if you're gonna push Danilo in that center back role. It's not a shot to Danilo, but he's not a center back. Like, yeah, he can do a job, and he did that last season because we had nobody. Like, it is what it is. It was only him at one point. So I get that, but like freely choosing at the start of the season because there's more and more rumors pushing into that direction. And someone said Rugani to Bologna. I saw the news. I don't know how Bologna are going to do that. He's on €3.5 million this season. So
Yeah, I can't see him leaving
confused. I'm confused. Like I don't.
And he's done next year as well, right? His contract.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's so many. We've mentioned this so many times too. Like, how many guys' contracts are just going to be over next year? Like, and again, 3-year rebuild. We're in year 2. Next year, I'm just going to keep on preaching that. It's all going to be next year. This year, we take what we get. Be happy. I mean, make some space if you have to with De Ligt or money, anyways. But again, just curb your enthusiasm a little bit for this year. It's going to definitely hit harder next year.
But that begs the question again. So year 3 of the rebuild. So are they saying that it's going to take 3 years to get all the pieces together, and then year 4 is when we're supposed to compete, or are we competing next year?
I mean, rebuilds are supposed to take 5 years. So technically, I would say yes.
Yeah, then
would be
that's
upwards to 5.
Yeah, that's a big lie then that they told us. Like at that point, you can always be right. Like because
fans can. You tell a fan, oh, it's going to be 5 years. I mean, my hockey team tried the same thing. They did these 2-3-year rebuilds. Dash, I don't know, you might know with the Leafs, how they just sucked for 20 years with these so-called rebuilds. And then finally they tore the team apart, and it took them 5 years before they started competing again.
But so let me throw this here. So wouldn't it be a little bit different because, like, for example, in the NFL draft or NHL draft, your number 1 pick isn't going to play for your team. He's going to probably go to AAA and then play there for a couple of months before.
And unless you get like a top 4 or 5 overall.
Because I got you. Because, like, for example, the Wings, we've had like the 3rd or the 4th pick, and like I think we drafted Mortiz Sider like 3 years ago, and he finally started playing for us this season. So yeah, I think NHL is probably the longest out of them all as far as rebuilds go. But the reason why I'm like kind of curious on this, because, like, for example, yeah, if it's money wise, I think because there's more money in this, you can see a quicker turnaround. That's why I'm a little bit curious just with the way that the personnel is going in, like as far as like who we're getting in and what we're replacing with what. That's why I'm like, are we really competing next year, or is it really the year after? Because like the thing is we only have Gatti that's like a long-term salary or a long tenured player possibly that's going to be in the center back room. De Ligt is 1 foot out the door. Bonucci's 1 foot in the grave, and then Danilo's like the same thing too, 1 foot in the grave as well. And then you like the only person that we have tenured is De Sciglio, and De Sciglio's not a starter. I don't agree with him being a starter. And then you look at the left, you have Sandro, who's pretty much 2 feet in the grave, and then Pellegrini, we don't even know where Pellegrini's going to go or if he's going to stay. And if he stays, again, he's not starter quality. So, usually year 2 or year 1 is where you get that potential prospect that comes in to take over. I mean, Gatti is the only one that I see. And then it's like the midfield is different because we actually have like 9 midfield players. So that one you can give a little bit more leeway to. But like same thing with the forward line. So you have Chiesa, Vlahovic, and then Di Maria. And then Zaniolo's like like a big question mark if he's actually going to, take over for Di Maria and produce. Again, I'm not bashing him and saying him that he sucks, but that's one of those things where you have to look at, okay, we're paying on hopes and dreams at this point. And if he comes in, he lights it up, that's great. But again, it's like who we don't have, like, for me, it's like this is kind of like a spotty rebuild because there isn't like a considerable like next person up to take part, like especially for our defense. Like our defense right now is just like scotch tape here, duct tape over here, and painter tape over there. And then if it holds, it holds, which is like not good at all, especially because your defense is going to be one of your core, especially with an Allegri team, it's your foundation block. Or it's like, it's a little bit alarming because our midfield is more dense than our actual defense room. our center back and right and left back department, because I mean, with Pogba incoming, and Ramsey too, even though Ramsey's not going to play, we still consider him right now in the roster. But we're almost at 9 to 10 midfielders on the squad, and that's including Moretti, Fagioli, and Rovella on all of them. So it's like, I understand that some of them are going to be moved, but we have more volatility there where we can actually determine, okay, this is our first line, this is our second line, as far as starters and backups. But when we look at our defense, we only have a first line, and that's it. Like, there isn't, like, I mean, Rugani, yes, and Gatti, but Rugani's out next year. He's not staying unless somehow we renew him, which is absolutely criminal. And then it's like the same thing.
Rugani has to deal until 24. Because
okay, so he's
forgetting it. Like, he got an extra year in 1 month time. But on the project, like, you can like you said 3 years. With 3 years, I mean you need to win in year 3. Like, that's it, because you cannot say, oh, the project is 5 years, but like, it's for Allegri. Like, the project is the time Allegri is here. You know,
which is 5 years.
Yeah, but like, that's too much. Like, okay, we need a rebuild, but we're not. That's too much, in my opinion.
That's exactly what I'm saying. The fans don't want it to be 5 years. They want it in 3 years.
Like, 5 years is finishing 7, going to first with a crap team, like from bottom. You know, like from front to back, it's horrendous. That's not the case with us. Like, if the club needs 5 years to fix this, that's not good. Like, that's way too long.
It's gonna be like next year we'll have the pieces in place. Be able to, I mean, technically we could have won Serie A this year. The past couple of years we could have, really. But I think starting maybe this year, definitely next year, we're winning the league. 5 years though is when that core is, you know, theoretically going to be built up enough. The young guys have gotten to that stage that we can take it up to maybe getting back to the semis or the finals of the UCL again. Like, that's what I mean by 5 years, is like all the way European level. Okay, domestically, we're competing.
Yeah, maybe, like, I wasn't even thinking about Europe at this point.
That makes more sense if we're taking it for a European sense. If we're talking about the league, like, that has to be faster, man. Because like, quality with us compared to everyone else, like, I'm sorry, I don't want to bash the Milano teams, but like, Inter financially they're almost in a really big heap of trouble, and then Milan just got a bunch of new owners, and we don't know how they're going to spend. But like, Napoli is Napoli, and same thing with Lazio. Like, the only thing from like outside the big three that's going to rise is potentially Roma, and then that's a big if Mourinho even stays to develop the project. He might bounce after a year depending on which Premier League team is going to give him more money. But yeah, as far as Serie A goes, like, I would be shocked if we're not competing this season and next season. I mean, I would say next season we have the expectation to win it for sure. This year we can give the leeway and say that we need to compete for the top spot, but next year, if we're not winning the league, I would look at Allegri, Cherubini, and Arrivabene and say, hey, there's the door, go.
No, absolutely. Because, I mean, look, what will next year be? Probably Udogi left, Bremer, Gatti, Battistile, perhaps. I don't know. You got Molina on the right. I mean, our midfield we know is going to be pretty decent. And then replace Di Maria. Hopefully Zaniolo, Chiesa, their ACLs kind of prove us wrong. And I mean, the team's rebuilt at that point. And then it's just a matter of getting that team cohesion and that dynamism. I can't say that word. You know what I'm trying to say. That dynamics, the dynamics of the team going forward to really penetrate into Europe.
Yeah, I'm not like you're giving them a lot of benefit of the doubt, which is fine. But like, if Arrivabene, the way Arrivabene speaks, he wants to be viewed as that guy. So I'm gonna hold him to that standard. Like, if you wanna make those statements public, the plan or Dybala is not part of our, you wanna call it, project. All players love their agent more than us. He wants to leave, so yeah, like, there's the door. Like, if you don't want to renew for that, see, okay, like, fans eat that up. Great stuff. You need to back it up. It's on black and white in the newspaper. Like, it's printed. You cannot run away from it now. I'll keep saying it, be the tough guy in the interviews, which is fine if you can back it up. So in 3 year times, I'm going to sit here, 24, excuse me, probably earlier, around May, and I'm like, okay, it's good. Or I'm like, no, like a lot of talk, but like nothing special, you know? So let's see.
Yeah. I do think the 5-year marker is actually a pretty good spot to see where we're at, because, like, for example, City, Liverpool, PSG, all those great teams that are consistently making runs right now into the Champions League took roughly about 5 years, because, like, remember the City that came in with Mancini, and like those guys were getting bounced in the group stages of the Champions League. So like it totally makes sense. And then like the same thing with PSG, where everyone was clowning them for not being able to make it out of the round of 16. Ironically, that's us now. But yeah, I think after year 5, if we're not consistently going into deep runs in the Champions League, it's atrocious. And some people can say, like, you know, hey, we're Juventus, we shouldn't take more than 5 years. There's teams that make way more money than us that took them about 5 years before having long sustained runs in the Champions League, because it's a different behemoth, man. The Champions League it's not Serie A, it's not La Liga, it's not the Premier League. It's one of those things where like you have it or you don't. And especially since the new Champions League format is coming out, the Swiss model. I believe it's not the next season, but I believe the season after that, where it's totally different, where it's going to be a full league stage. So like the Champions League, it's going to be interesting to see, but it does take time to be consistent there, because like, for example, anyone can beat anyone. Like nobody expected Villarreal to beat Bayern, but they did. Again, same with us, they beat us. So Champions League, some people call it the Real Madrid League at this point, just because of this decade. It's interesting. So like I know people are expecting us to be faster into the Champions League, but the Champions League is a totally different monster. And like, yeah, as much as I want to win it, but we're almost like the Maple Leafs of the Champions League. I'm not gonna lie.
Reference again, yeah.
Yeah, I have to.
It's true, yeah.
But it is what it is.
And I mean, since we're referencing hockey teams, which nobody wants to reference, you got to look at the contracts too. That's going to slow our rebuild down. And yes, my hockey team is the same thing. We kept on going for these veterans to patch holes, and it never worked. And we're kind of doing that right now because we can't move all these old dudes because they're on too high of a salary and they're not going to leave. And they're all pretty much gone, most of them anyways, next year. That's really slowing us down right now. So yeah, you can say, oh, it took us from 5 years. I saw that comment from Serie B to winning Serie A again. But that was because the team was kind of torn apart. Yeah, there was a few key players that stuck around, obviously, but they were able to rebuild from a cleaner foundation. Whereas right now we have all these cracks that we're trying to patch up. So that slows us down a lot.
I agree. But
and then I just want to call out this. If the
club say, if Arriveni speaks, you need to back it up. That's all I'm saying. Like I never said I need 3 years. He said that, you know. So I'm gonna keep him to it. That's it.
So Anthony, the reason we're using the Leaf reference is because the Leafs heartbreak us I'm a Red Wings fan, but the Leafs always heartbreak their fans the first round of the playoffs, just like how Juventus does it in the first round of the Champions League playoffs. So
always makes it to Game 7 though. Always goes to the elimination.
Yeah. So like that's kind of the reference there. We don't mean finals. We mean just first round exits.
Yeah, like it would be akin to the round of 16 essentially. You make it through, and then that's it. When push comes to shove, you fall down.
I have one last bit of news I want to touch on before we're wrapping it up, because it's going to be a little shorter today because the news it's not there. Like if somebody wants an update, Di Marzio has no info on Zaniolo. Basically, he's still pushing Berardi. He's acting like there's nothing happening really between us and Zaniolo, which is kind of weird, you know, because it's happening. He said his agent met with Roma today, and he didn't, you know, inform Roma about an offer, you know. And Padula is saying the meeting will take place tomorrow between his agent and Roma. So one person is lying, or there are going to be two meetings. I don't know, and he will present an offer to Roma from Juve, basically. Yeah, that's basically that. But he also said Padula that an offer for the Ligt will arrive in the next coming hours, and that Gabriel is. It's the same news, like it's guessing at this point. There's nothing new. The last news I want to talk about is Kostic, because Romeo, I'll put it out on the screen, basically said what I've been saying for, a lot of people are saying for a while. It feels like a myth, that story about Kostic, and he said Kostic has never been a priority for the club, this market, during this session, and he's not even now either. The clubs were focusing on Di Maria, and are now focusing on Zaniolo, and like that's what I said many times. Like, sorry, I don't believe it if it's that close and you never felt it's close, because apparently it was super close. Like, you agreed only 3-4 million difference with Frankfurt, blah blah blah, and I was sitting here every live and I was like, I don't feel it. And the last 4 days, there's also no news about it, to be honest. So I don't think that deal is gonna happen. I will be absolutely shocked, and I've said it many times, if we sign Kostic at this point. Does anyone remotely believe you will get him?
Well, I know somebody in the chat that still believes that we'll get him. Starts with an M. His first name starts with an M. His last name starts with an O.
Yeah, he's probably the most active guy in the chat tonight too.
Yeah,
and in the Discord, he hasn't stopped for about 3 days now.
Autopilot. Yeah, I think it's a non-deal. I don't think it's gonna happen. I saw a debate today, but I didn't really read it completely. It was a good one, and people were saying what's gonna happen now until Chiesa is back. Di Maria, he can play on the left, and I still believe that we will get Morata back in the last final days of the market. That's what I believe at this point. I really do believe.
It's looking that way, right?
That's for another loan. Yeah, it's affordable. What, another 10 million just for this year?
I think it's gonna be cheaper.
Yeah, I think he will renew, and that Atletico will say if it's gonna come to the final days, I think he will renew, and Atletico will say loan plus an obligation, and it will be like 7 million loan and a 13 obligation, something like that, or like I'm saying something. That's what I actually feel. Like, at the moment the news came out, it's down for Morata, I'm like, I'm not sure about it. Yeah, he can post an entire video about goodbye, because maybe it's a goodbye, maybe he thinks it's goodbye, but I don't believe Simeone wants to keep him. There are no offers on the table. It's just us or Atletico at this point. So that's why.
But which number does he take now? I know you love the jersey numbers.
He's gonna take number 10.
Yeah.
I don't care. You can take number.
AM 10. That's what we're going for.
Yeah, if that happens, you would see a riot outside the Allianz.
Yeah. The only thing I care about numbers is we're doing a giveaway soon, so I need to know the numbers from certain players. That's the only. I mean, I can do the giveaway without knowing the numbers. Like, you can still add whatever you want on the shirts.
Oh, it's fine. So if I win, I'm just gonna get Arriva Bene number 10. That's gonna be my jersey one if he makes good deals. If I win the thing.
That we're not paying, so we're not paying for that. No. But like, that's the only moment I care about jerseys, because I don't buy jerseys with names, and I think this summer proved why you shouldn't buy them. There was someone on Twitter who he had a De Ligt jersey, he had a Chiesa and a Vlahovic jersey. Like, he's screwed. Like, De Ligt is gone, Vlahovic and Chiesa changed their
numbers. Yeah.
And
I got the 22 one behind me now, but whatever. Like, it's just history now.
Yeah, I don't history. You know what? Like, maybe in 92 when like it wasn't mainstream to buy jersey, that's history. Now everybody has one.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I mean that's just how I
Value-wise.
look at it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have another jersey, hockey again in this case, Connor McDavid. it was his rookie jersey. Next year, he got the captaincy. I don't have the C on the chest. Do I cry, or do I just say, "Hey, I have his rookie jersey that's bare right now"?
Just so you know, LA, he's like the Lionel Messi of hockey right now. So
yeah, he's the best player. But the point is that he's missing that badge that I could have had, but I'm not upset about it. I just said that's his rookie jersey. That's just the way it is.
Can you be the best in hockey? How does that work?
Just by being amazing in general.
Well, it's the thing is like he dribbles so well with the puck where you just cannot, like, you just can't even take it from him. That guy makes that puck go into places.
The only hockey player I know is Crosby, and that's because
he's at that same level.
Yeah,
he's the newer generation of Crosby.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Red Wing fans hate Crosby. We hate Crosby. We have a reason why we hate Crosby, but
I don't know the history. I just know through replays and why. That's the only reason.
We're gonna get a bunch of unlikes now because we're talking hockey again. Sorry, guys.
But the thing is,
I don't even follow it.
For me, I never was a fan of getting other people's names on my back when I'd get a jersey. Like I'd be the cliche guy that would put my name on it, or just keep it. Now I just keep it blank. Like, I don't know. I never was so. Whenever I see people like consistently, like, you'll have people that'll buy like this year's De Ligt jersey, next year's De Ligt jersey, and that. Like, the only time I have a jersey with someone else's name on the back was like I went to a flea market and got a $20 Ronaldo jersey when he came to Juve, like a cheap Ronaldo one where it's like the patches, like they were like 3D printed on. Like it wasn't even like fully sewed on. That was like the only time I actually commit to buying like another player's name on my back. But other than that, like if I get like an authentic jersey, I'm keeping it blank.
Yeah. Like I don't, like I've said it many times. I don't. I have Marquisio, Chiellini in the last couple of years because, I'm pretty sure about those players. And it's not about being sure. First of all, I don't wear jerseys. Like, I wear them when I go play indoor football. It's indoor football, right? That's the only moment I wear them. Like, not even when I go for a run, because if you sweat, it's not fun to wear. Like, I don't wear it.
It's like skin.
Yeah, I don't like it. You know, it is what it is. So I buy them actually just to buy it. Not even buy. I don't buy them. Like, all the jerseys I have were gifts. I never ordered one myself. You know, I'm not that guy. Like, I'm not gonna lie. And I understand people do like it. You know, and that's why the club makes a lot of money and Adidas, which is good. You know, keep buying jerseys. Like Julian, he bought a Ramsey jersey. Good for us. Good for the club. Not good for him. It is what it is.
Julian would get a Bieber jersey if he was able to. So
we just want to let Julian know that it's because of that one Ramsey jersey he bought. We got Paul Pogba. Like, I just want you to know that, Julian.
It's the one.
Same thing with the Kulusevski. That one Kulusevski and that one Ramsey jersey are the reason why we have Di Maria and Pogba.
Yeah,
it's all his fault.
That was before his time on the channel. Like, now I think he's scared to buy the jerseys, like random one. If he was on the channel, he would be buying a Cambiasso jersey or like a Gatti jersey this summer. You know, that's
that one Gatti jersey is gonna fuel the transfer funds that we're gonna use to get Koulibaly. So Julian, you keep doing you, Julian.
Yeah, and that's another point too. Let's hit back at Zaniolo a bit. Like, he's going to bring in at least a few million just on jersey sales. I know the budgets are different. They don't necessarily translate, but from a club level, getting these types of players will make the team money.
Are you kidding me? Justin's going to buy like 20 versions of the Zaniolo jersey. Any kit. Like,
that orange one from a couple years ago.
He's going to go for the fourth one, for the women's. He's buying all of them.
The women's, the U7s, the U8s. He's even gonna buy his kid some Juventus or some Zaniolo jerseys. Like, you know, guys, if Justin says like he can't be on a live because he's restructuring his house, it's because he's putting up all 20 Zaniolo jerseys that he bought.
He's gonna have to buy 20 Zaniolo cutouts to go with his Buffon cutout.
Yeah.
If he doesn't add, like, because I think he's gonna join Zaniolo at some point. Going off the news, not Di Marcio's news, because he's acting like nothing is happening, which is, I still can't believe. Like, but then again, he's late to the party for almost everything the last 2 years, I would say, very late. But if Justin doesn't have a Zaniolo jersey, like a few days after he signed, I will be shocked. You know,
I would be shocked a few hours. Like, I feel like he'd be just literally right there at the Juventus store, and he's like, "All right, I'll show you Dash and Davide."
Yeah. Oh my god. I'm not doing the live with him if he joins. I'm not doing that. You know, maybe this week we're gonna have a debate show with the three of us, and I'm just gonna sit back and watch Julian and Justin go at it because it's like it's polar opposite on Zaniolo. Like one is extremely happy, and the other one is in the corner almost crying, and that's Julian. So that will be fun.
He was so bitter. Was it last night that he was on, or 2 nights ago?
No, I think it was last night. I only saw a few minutes, and I tuned in, and I was like, I think he's gonna cry on the stream. I think he's gonna beat me.
And then when I called him out for it, he's like, "I'm not crying. That's not."
Yeah, I saw. Because I need to wake up very early Monday and Tuesday, so I'm like, I'm gonna go to sleep. Like you do it, and for some reason I woke up, and the stream was still on, and I saw him sharing the stream. His stream. I was like, yeah, this can be good, you know. And I put on the sound, and I was like, I was hearing the stats he was like talking about, and he was laughing. I was like, a good thing I'm not with him today, you know, because for some reason I will take the blame on the channel. Being like, I'm not negative. Somebody said it. Julian is overtaking me. I think he did that. I think he did that yesterday evening. He managed to overtake me, which is good because I get, you know, my bad name away. He took it, but on Zaniolo, because I think we will do a debate show this week on that. It's just a surprise. That's all I'm saying. Other than that, like, it is what it is. But yeah, that's the news. Also, I saw that I think Di Marzio was talking about Pogba. Oh no, it's just medical. Yeah, so medical for Pogba, Di Maria, Cambiaso between Friday and Sunday. It's a bit all over the place. Not really 100% sure, but those 3 days they will have his medical. Di Maria apparently Friday, according to Di Marzio. So yeah, I don't know if that's really news. Like, we knew he's gonna sign. Like, when, it's fine. Maybe it's hype, you know. The only thing I care about maybe a little bit is the press conferences. I think the Di Maria one will be interesting in my opinion, because I hope so. I hope journalists in that room ask him the question about waiting, and I hope he gives the response I hope him to give. You know, the Pogba one will also be interesting because I hope somebody will ask him. I don't think it's gonna happen. I hope somebody will ask him, was it a mistake to leave the club? I want to see how he reacts. I know he's gonna give a political, you know, answer.
I'd be so surprised.
But I think he's gonna drop a little hint, you know. Maybe like, yeah.
That's going to be something like in his second or third season, and it's going to be like an international break. Not much news is happening, and, you know, some second-rate Juve website. I mean, there's only a couple, so I don't think I need to say their names. But they're going to come out with some really bad article about what he said, just to fill up some space. That's when I'm going to hear about it.
Yeah, I think they're going to do the medicals. I think the presser is going to be... When is 14th of July? When is 14th of July?
I think that's a Tuesday.
Oh, it's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday.
That's when preseason starts, right? It's or 11. No, it's 14, right? I'm confused.
That's Thursday, yeah.
It's 11 or 14, but I think espresso will be not the coming week, the following week, which is good because I'm off work already for 2 weeks, so that's good. I hope so. I think because the US tour is after that. So let's see. But it's July, and I'll keep saying it. Remember when we were saying, there was still time. Season starts in a little bit over a month. No, like the first game of the season. It's a month and a week. It's not long anymore, you know. Remember we were saying, everybody stay calm. It's only the start of June.
Yeah, I said that like 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, we said that in like May.
But when you sit back, it's like it's 1 month and a week, and season is there. It's gonna go really quickly now.
Yeah.
Okay, you got your main guys in, but like the leg situation is something that needs to be resolved really quickly because you need to bring in center backs and they need to. I don't want to go to the first 3 games of the season and see Bonucci and Rugani at the back. Like, I'm sorry, because if that happens, I'm like, I'm getting flashback of Empoli, Udinese, like that kind of start. Like, I don't want that. So let's see. According to Pedula, tomorrow meeting with Roma. According to Di Marzio, the meeting was today. But he also said there's nothing really at the moment between Juve and Roma, which is weird because all the other journalists are saying there is. So that's that. That's a recap for today. Nothing special. Hopefully the delayed offer comes in tomorrow, so we can kind of move on. Or not move on, but like kind of get a clear idea which direction we are heading because we need to resolve that.
So we can schedule Justin's here we go for Zaniolo. He's got to be the one that does it.
I hope I hope if he's not free that day,
I'm gonna be heartbroken.
I told him I'll be dancing in the background for him. He can just overlay my like half naked body dancing behind him.
well, no. So it's an inside thing. So what happens is Davide and I are gonna go down to Kentucky to Louisville, the Louisvilles of Kentucky, and we're gonna go there and kidnap Justin for the episode and just hold him at a camera and just be like, "Film this, here we go." And he's like, "Okay, guys, all right."
I know.
You know what?
Justin's
what's choked me up too? I didn't get picked for this particular trip. I was gone for 3 weeks. But there's a Louisville trip that my company's doing in a couple of days. And I asked him, I was like, you got to send me on this. It's like, why? He's like, there's a guy I know that I got to meet. Obviously I didn't tell him, but like we would have collabed. I would have been perfect. Zaniolo come in. I would have been dancing right there with his cutout of Buffon. It almost lined up perfectly.
Knowing Justin's luck, he will be out the moment it breaks, and Julian will need to do the live. That's how it's gonna happen. So
you can't. No, that would destroy the channel. You can't allow that.
I think that will be the worst case scenario, but it is like Julian is the only one who's available during the day. Like that, he's the only one. Like I'm at work. Justin, it depends. Like that's why I'm saying his luck, he's out. With his luck, he's out. It's only Julian. So yeah.
You could always give us you could give Davide and us a spare set of keys and we'll jump in and we'll do our dance.
He doesn't trust us for that.
I don't think Julian wants any dancing when he needs to talk about Zaniolo joining at that for 50 mil. Oh my god. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up because it's late and there's not much news at the moment. It is what it is. If you haven't watched Justin's daily video, it's out, so go check that out. We will be back tomorrow with a live. I'm not sure who because I didn't make a schedule this week. That's my bad. But we will be back tomorrow with a live. Like, subscribe. Also, we hit 3K, so I want to thank everyone who's in the chat now, who's going to rewatch the live, you guys, because you're supporting the channel. When we started, it's still fun. It's still for fun, but we're like, it could be a complete flop, but it isn't, and that's because you guys, everyone, otherwise we would be talking to ourselves at this point, but it's not. So yeah, 3K. So thanks for that. Like, subscribe, and we will see you back tomorrow. Ciao, guys.
Join the members group.